Canada, Malta, more countries recognize Palestine. Impact on Middle East peace. In a bold move that's shaking up the political landscape, Canada and Malta have declared their intentions to recognize the state of Palestine this September. This announcement, made at the United Nations General Assembly, signals a significant escalation in international pressure on Israel to resolve the decades-long Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But here's where it gets controversial. Canada's Foreign Minister, Anita Anand, emphasized that this recognition is contingent upon the Palestinian Authority holding free elections in 2026 and ensuring that Hamas plays no role in the new government. Moreover, the Palestinian state would be required to demilitarize. While this might seem reasonable to some, others argue that such conditions are unfair and overly restrictive. And this is the part most people miss. Malta, a Mediterranean island nation and EU member, has joined France and the UK in this move, bringing the total number of countries recognizing Palestine to over 145. This marks a significant shift in global opinion. But let's pause for a moment. What do you think? Is this a long overdue step towards peace or a misguided attempt at intervention? Share your thoughts in the comments below. As the international community continues to push for a two-state solution, it's clear that the path to peace is far from straightforward. Will this recognition lead to lasting peace in the Middle East? Or will it spark further conflict? Only time will tell. Trump escalates Canada trade war over Palestine stance, 35% tariff looms. Trade tensions between the United States and Canada just hit a new level, and it's not just about economics this time. Imagine the world's closest trading partners suddenly locking horns over a foreign policy decision. That's exactly what's happening now. And the stakes couldn't be higher. Just one day before an August 1 deadline for a critical tariff agreement, U.S. President Donald Trump announced a major escalation in his ongoing trade dispute with Canada. The twist? This move follows Canada's public support for recognizing Palestinian statehood, a diplomatic stance that has thrown a new wrench into already tense negotiations. Here's where things get especially contentious. President Trump declared that due to Canada's stand on Palestine, reaching a new trade agreement would now be very hard. He didn't stop there. Trump threatened to impose a steep 35% tariff on all Canadian goods not currently protected under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, unless a deal materializes by the deadline. In practical terms, this means nearly every Canadian export to the United States could suddenly become much more expensive overnight. And this is the part most people miss. Canada isn't just any trade partner. It's the U.S., second largest trading ally, right after Mexico, and holds the top spot as the largest purchaser of American exports. To put it into perspective, last year Canada imported $349.4 billion in U.S. products and sent $412.7 billion worth of goods back across the border. If these relationships sour, the ripple effects could reach everyday consumers and entire industries on both sides. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, meanwhile, maintains that negotiations were progressing productively, though he admitted the ongoing talks had reached an intense stage. Carney also set expectations, cautioning that a full removal of U.S. tariffs was probably not achievable by the looming deadline. It's important to note, Canada is also the primary supplier of steel and aluminum to the U.S., industries already hit by American tariffs, in addition to the threatened levies on cars and trucks. But here's where the controversy intensifies. Just last month, Prime Minister Carney's administration scrapped a tax on U.S. tech giants after Trump abruptly halted trade discussions, calling the levy a blatant attack. Now, Carney has joined France and the UK in planning to formally recognize the state of Palestine at an upcoming United Nations meeting. Explaining his government's decision, Carney cited the catastrophic humanitarian crisis in Gaza, stating, "Canada condemns the fact that the Israeli government has allowed a catastrophe to unfold." Unsurprisingly, Carney's comments drew swift rejection from both Israel and the U.S., Israel's steadfast ally. At the time this story emerged, Carney's office had not responded to questions regarding Trump's latest social media outburst on the issue. This story raises pressing questions. Should international diplomacy influence trade relationships? Will Canada's recognition of Palestine set off a chain reaction among other key U.S. allies? And is Trump's tariff threat a justified response, or a dangerous precedent, mixing politics and economics? What do you think? Can geopolitical beliefs and trade negotiations really be separated, or are they more intertwined?